Hi. Thought I would pop on and do a quick video because something's been running through my head and I can't get it out of my head, and I figured it was because I needed to tell you guys. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my spiritual journey. It's always been part of my life for as far as I remember. There's always been talk about spirits and stories about spirit and stuff as I was growing up. That I always resonated with it, and it always felt right, you know. And I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved every bit of it. And then it was really, I think it was around about 2008, 2009. I was either pregnant or just after I had my son. Who I was on this website for pregnant ladies and people when we knew just had babies, or men, you know. There was a few men on there too, but it was mainly women. And there was this one woman, I can't remember her name, but she messaged me one day and she said to me, you believe in an higher power, don't you? You're not religious, but you believe in that there's something bigger out there. And she said a few more things, but that one thing really resonated. The whole thing did, but this one thing she said just stuck in my head. And I messaged her back. I said, oh my God, yes. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly what I'm like. And then you know, I said, how did you know that? And she never replied back. And then she disappeared, and I lost contact with her, and I don't know who she is to this day. I can't remember her name. But I believe now that she came into my life to help spark that spiritual side of me again, you know? To help spark that and start my ascension process, which looking back now has probably taken a long time. Like, it was 10 years ago, you know? It was really the first time anyone had got me, and perfectly, and I hadn't even spoken to this woman before. I didn't know who she was, you know. And I do believe now that she was there to start off that journey, to spark that journey, you know, that without her maybe I wouldn't be here now. But I'm grateful. I think it was either just before that or it may have been just after that I started looking into tarot cards. I had a pack of tarot cards from before that never really resonated with me so much. But I ended up with a pack of Rider-Waite tarot. It was back in 2010 or 11 that I was really into them. I was using them every day. I was doing readings for me. I was doing readings for my family. I was reading a book. In fact, this book was from 2011 that I've had since then, that I was actually reading and using the spreads in it and all that lot. And yeah, I was really into it. And then sometime throughout that, sometime in, I think it was about 2012-ish, I put the tarot cards down one day and I never picked them up again. But I really wanted to do cards for other people. I really wanted to turn it into a business at that time. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I had no confidence. I had no video experience. I just couldn't, you know. It was in 2014 I started my first blog. It was a year later, in 2015, I really started with spiritual development, personal development. 2016, I think it was 2016, I started my mindset work. And really got more into spirituality too. And then it was the end of 2018 that I had a tarot reading, a free tarot reading of somebody that says, you know what, you're in the wrong business. Stop what you're doing. Gather your thoughts, gather who you are and move. Then, you know, follow your intuition, basically. And that resonated with me so much at the time that I did exactly what she said. I was right at the end of 2018, I was like December 19th-ish, or somewhere just before then. And in that time, it's been not 2 months, well, less than 2 months since then. And that is really when the rest of my spiritual journey started, because it was by that point I was confident. You know, I'd worked through all my mindset stuff I'd worked through and healed the stuff that was stopping me from moving forward. And I really changed myself. It was a bit like I'd completely changed everything. Like, and that it was it's a video I've just watched that made me think that, yeah, I watched a video on YouTube that made me think when she said it was a tower moment, and that's the first thing that I thought just now, that yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then I had sort of, it was like right at the end of 2018, I had sort of a full moment as well, that I just took a leap of faith and I jumped. And that's why I started tarot reading on YouTube, because by that point I had the confidence to do the videos. I've been doing videos and lives and stuff before, you know, for the past 2 years before, you know, so it feels like I've gone through the ascension process from, like, just in this last 2 months. In reality, I feel like it's been a 10-year process, because the first few years I was just sort of, I was fumbling along, but I had that thought in my head that there's something higher out there, there's a higher power out there. It was basically, that's the universe, you know, that the spiritual connection, that spiritual spark inside me, it was there, you know. I'd started with that, but I had work to do on me. I had personal development to do, I had mindset development to do. That for me was important first, and all that personal development and all that mindset work was my spiritual journey starting off and leading up to this tower moment in December, and then this full moment in January. that I just jumped. And since then, I've done a lot of research on YouTube. I've done a lot of reading. The stuff that I've found out recently, the stuff I've found out throughout that time about me, about who I am, figuring out, like, using my intuition and developing myself psychically and intuitively. That it's really changed everything. I've got that knowledge now that perhaps 6 months ago, if somebody had told me, you know what, Sarah, you're a starseed, you've come from, you know, a Pleiadian star system, and I'd be like, shut the fuck up, you know what you're talking about, you're a bit crazy, you know what I mean? and now I see them and I see videos and I'm thinking, that's me, you know? That's me. I found my people, I found my home, and it's all a bit strange, and yeah, so that is where I'm at now. I'm going to continue putting these vlogs on YouTube when I feel the need to do so. I'm not putting them out as in any specific time frame or whatever. It's just whenever I feel the need to do so. But yeah, that is me. That is who I am. And yeah, I feel like I'm just coming into my own. That's the message I've just got in my head. You're just coming into your own. And that's how it feels, you know. And I'm heading towards that sun, you know. That sun card in the major arcana, I'm heading towards that. That is where I'm heading towards. And I don't have it in my hand, but I think you get the picture. That's where I'm heading towards, and I know I'm heading towards that, and I can see where I'm heading towards. But I know there's some unknowns in there, and there's some things that I haven't figured out yet. Some things that are probably just going to come out of the blue, but that's okay, you know. So if you've watched this and you're just starting out your spiritual journey, or you really feel like your world's falling apart and everything's changing and you're really not sure what direction to go, you're not sure where to turn, I've been there and I know what it's like. And even though things are still changing, things are still balancing themselves out, that it's definitely worth taking a leap of faith. You know, it's definitely worth taking a leap of faith and just be in hermit mode for a bit, you know? Be in hermit mode for a bit where you're reflecting, where you're meditating, you're taking time out on your own to think, to reevaluate things, to learn, you know? And it will all be okay. So thank you for watching. And I really hope you enjoyed my rambling. I hope you have the most amazing day. Bye.